What's happening? This is Kyle on wings. As with everyone else, at one point I was new and didn't know squat about it. I understood wing loading. I was already a pilot by the time I picked up paragliding. So I had a good understanding of aerodynamics, materials, loads, things of that nature. I've been thermal flying all day, at least a couple hours. I went up there and chased thermals, motor off. I had quite a nice flight actually, until my bladder almost exploded. Tidbit, if you're gonna do a cross country, which I didn't know that I was gonna be doing, you wanna put on one of those condom catheters and run yourself a pee tube. Trust me, it's worth it. I started with this old ragged out Paratoys original. It was big, it was old, it was a dog. Yeah, I believe Master Jedi called it a sky slug. He said, if you can launch this glider, you can launch anything. So I learned to launch it, and sure enough, man, I kind of got to pat the guy on the back after that, because I can launch just about anything now. You know, you learn to master your technique if your equipment isn't all that, and I did. So good stuff. Oh, what do I like about wings now that I've flown, I don't know, 30 wings? Let's start with the risers. What is this one? This is the Hadron XX. Really busy risers. You can adjust the position of these brakes. Don't care for the flaps. And also on the trimmers, right here, there used to be big paddles. It made it really easy to push them to release the trimmers. But at the same time, on a forward launch, my forearms would push those and let the trims out. And it almost caused a couple of accidents. Finally, I just took a drill and I drilled those two holes where the rivets were. Just it took about a minute. Those paddles fell off. Now, even if you push, you can't make the trimmers actuate and release. You've got these tip steering, which are really nice if you're on a cross country. I don't understand the whole bungee cord thing. If you look back over here on the old Hadron, here's a riser from the old Hadron. The tip steering is right down here by the connections where your carabiners are. So you don't have to reach way up. You just kind of, if you can reach your carabiners, then you've got your hand on your tip steer and you can do your tip steer. I really like that. I think that's a better design. I don't know, Dudek, I don't know what you were thinking. You kind of went backwards with that. Your lines. I do not like unsheathed lines. I understand the benefit that you get with drag if you're free flying, but come on, y'all. Most of us aren't setting world records. We're not trying to scrape every 0.1% of a point of glide. So I like sheathed lines. They last a lot longer. They protect what's important on the inside, less likely to snag. I don't mind them being unsheathed right at the cascade, the part that hooks right onto the wing. That part doesn't usually get beat as hard as the ones that are lower. That's just my personal feeling. After that Paratoys original, I went to a Muse 3 by Mac Para. Very nice wing. I flew that wing for a whole lot of hours. It did everything I asked of it. I learned to free fly on that wing. Did my first SIV on that wing. My first 100 hours or so were on that wing. Still crispy when I sold it. These things will really last. Keep them out of the sun, keep them out of the water and the mud. Sand and asphalt are terrible for them. If you can just play in the grass, I know that's kind of dependent on where you live. Grass doesn't really do anything to them much. When I started to progress, you know, I demoed a bunch of different gliders. If it's of a newer design, like say 3 to 5 years design, then it's going to have a lot of the good benefits going for it. Better safety, better efficiency, all at the same time. You know, they're going to cost more. Newer wings cost more. That's a negative thing about them. If you're getting into the sport, you can find some really nice used wings. Most guys get a starter wing, a beginner wing. They fly it for, you know, 40, 50, 100 hours, whatever. Those wings, if you take care of them, they're good for a long, long time. Don't be scared of a used wing. If you are, you know, have it inspected. Used wings are fine. This Hadron XX, I bought it used. It had some damage on it. Got a deal on it. Put some glider tape over the damaged areas. They were not in any critical weight-bearing points. So, hey, I got a discounted wing, low hours. Got 3 Band-Aids on it. Works great. Does everything I need it to do. The Hadron, the old original, it was overstocked. When they came out with this XX version, these went on sale. I got it on sale, so that was also a good deal. My other glider here, got it packed up. It's a Ozone Buzz V5. I use this one as my free flight glider. I've also motored with it. I've done SIV on it. It's a newer design. I believe they came out with it the very first part of last year. Great wing, great wing. It would even be good for a beginner because I both free fly and motor fly. I wanted a little versatility. Big, boaty, slow, free flight wing, great for snagging thermals. You know, you're not gonna be setting any world records with it, but that's not the point either. For motor flying, I've got these two options. Kind of a medium-sized hadron, when I say that, for my weight. And then I've got a smaller hadron, XX. Just as any vehicle goes, think mud truck versus Ferrari. One of them's gonna excel in one section, the other one's gonna excel in the other. Same thing goes for wings. You know, if the wind's really honking, I wanna do some tricks, you know, have some real fast roll rate, I'll bust out this little bitty Hadron XX. It's fast, it's agile. Say like today when I wanted to go do motor thermals, I busted out the bigger Hadron. It's a little more lifty because it's bigger and not as aggressive. Same thing, I go to the mountains and I just want a ridge soar and some light lift. I got this Buzz Z5, man. They all work great. You know, modern paragliders, I'm not really a fanboy to any one brand. There's good offerings from Dudek, Mac Para, Ozone, Gin, Niviuk. I've flown gliders by all those brands. So there were no real detractions other than stuff that I've already mentioned. Unsheathed lines I don't care for. They end up snagged and frayed on every little kind of sticker thing there is around. Oh, size matters. I've flown the same wing in different size. Had a completely different feel to them. Well, I say completely different. It was a little different. The more advanced gliders, they react a lot faster. That's the reason you want to start with a beginner type wing. They've got slower responses. They're not as agile. Efficiency's probably a little bit less, but they're great, you know. Modern wings are great. Go back and look up some of those beginner paragliding videos, you know. I mean, they were on these huge, fat, bubbly, square things, and it's come so far. We're in a really good time right now for equipment, for wings. You know, I implore you to go take demo rides, borrow your friend's stuff, go to fly-ins. Fly-ins are a fantastic place, whether you're not a pilot, want to be a pilot, or are an experienced pilot. There's so much fun, you know. You run into good people. By far, there's more good people than bad at fly-ins. Fly-ins are great. I love get-togethers. Hopefully we'll be friends for the rest of our lives, whether we're flying or not. Hopefully we'll be flying.